Okay, probably about a year ago, I found this surface grinder, this interior surface grinder. It's actually a die grinder in a garage sale, and it was perfect because it's all metal. And these days, die grinders are plastic, and they work fine. But to be able to clamp it, you can't do it with plastic. So I built this little bracket for it. And it turns out the bracket is a little high. So what I do is just take a 1/4 inch bit and slide it in there a ways. Give myself a little bit of a height back in the point, and that pretty much takes care of it. And I'm using a ball grinder because it seems to be that it is able to get in there where almost every other grinder is not going to be able to. Now, what I didn't do, and what I didn't think I needed to do, except that, when I come to this first project with it, is I didn't set it up so the grinder can rotate. And I just, said, okay, well, the head will rotate and that'll be fine. Well, turns out this is the one project where it isn't fine, but it still works okay, and we're reasonably happy with the results. And normally I would put a cloth down here, something like that, but I've got this extra jaw kind of sitting out here, and it comes pretty close. And my fear would be able to grab that piece of cloth and just spin it. So what I'm going to do is come in after the fact, clean up the mess, really polish this baby down, get all the grindings off of it, and then re-oil it and yada yada. So we are in the grinding stage, and this grinder makes a bit of noise, so I'm putting my headphones on. It in until I see sparks. Yep, there we go. And then I'm able to grind in a little bit of rotation. Actually, that's more sparks than I want. Okay, the next part of this process is cutting the plugs or the punches for this process. And as you can see, one set of punches, the longer ones, are 2.5 inches, and the shorter ones are 1.5 inches. And they're set up to go inside of the receiver that we made yesterday. It's, by the way, the next morning. Nice, cool Thursday morning. So, and our sizes vary. So probably I'll want to start with the biggest one. Now, the other thing I have to do is, this was kind of an afterthought with him, is to drill a hole in the bottom of the shorter punches and build some little plugs to go in the bottoms there. And I'll show you what his plan is here. There's his plan. He wants to be able to put the ring, the unformed ring, on the shorter punch and just have it be centered so that when he pushes it down inside of there, it just folds that outer edge back in a bit, and so he gets more of a straight line. So yeah, I think it's a workable approach too. So we're going to go ahead and start with our bigger piece, which is not there, which is there, and we're at 1.5 inches or 1 9/16, and down to 12275 now. So I'll be back in a few minutes when we kind of get set up. As we spoke about earlier, I think I'm going to start with the long 2.5 inch, inch and 9/16 piece, and we're going to go ahead and just trim it down to the right diameter, and then take that 10 degrees off of it, and that should be it. Oh, and then go ahead and surface grind that in order to get it to match the negative. So we'll get started and go from there. I'd say we could go a little faster. That looks like a good speed. Concerned that my bit is out a little bit too far, so let's drag that back in. We had to have that out on the last project to reach as far as we could to get this one little piece, and we just don't need to do that now. So let's get it back in so we don't have a whole bunch of chatter. Gonna make it. As always, setup is the key here. So we'll just spin it around a little bit, and I think we'll have it. We're not going to be at the 90 that I wanted, but I think that's going to be fine. Just a little bit more. Going to need to bring our plug out just a little further, maybe to about there. Now I think we got some. Okay, we'll take a cleanup cut so we can figure out where we're at and what our measurements are going to look like. We've got 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 5, 6, 2, 1, 5, 1, 5. There's 50, 62. So we're a few thousand short. So no problem. We can go to the smaller size, which is 1250. And 1250. So we got a lot to cut now. So we cut it a few thousandths too big or too small. Now we can just start kind of cranking in. Thousandths more. So let's take 20. We're going to take 18. Okay, we've got our shaft. Let's see, where's our micrometer? There it is. We got our shaft measured at 2/500, and we are on the money. And we're going to now take and we're making this the third one over here. And we put the little nib on the end, which is what he wanted. And now we're going to take the taper and go down to 5.554. And he says I don't have to be that accurate, but close is good. So 5.50 would probably be sufficient. So basically we're going to take our 10 degrees and go ahead and just start cutting this by hand, because that's the way it's going to be. We're on the compound right now. So we got our taper cut, and we've got our own little home brewed surface grinder that I made, oh, I don't know, probably a couple of 2 or 3 years ago. And we'll crank her up and start cutting probably about a 1/2 thousandths per cut. Just to not put a whole lot of pressure on everything, and just take it right on down. Let's see, I think we go with this one. Take it up until it starts hitting. Let's put our die in there and see how that's going to work. Although, I don't know. So we're about
Let's take a break.
4 pieces into making these little plugs, and here I'll show you what we're going to make. He wants what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 2 more, 5, 9, and 10 sizes of these little plugs that are going to screw into the top of these short mandrels. So, and as I said, each one of these dots is ones that I've already made. We're going to work on size 11 right now at 765 thousandths diameter. And then we punch a hole through it and then screw, tap it and screw a bolt into it and then cut it off and braze it. So we're sitting here with about a 1 inch or a little bit bigger piece of bar stock. And we're going to take this one down to 7650. The diameter down to that, and so what I like to do is I like to set my micrometer at 7.5. What do we got? 7.6, 765, and then lock it. And I know where I'm at. I've got my distance here, and I can kind of continue to look at it as I cut and continue to bring this down till I get close, and then we'll play with this other approach. Okay, so we're pretty close at this point.